Welcome back to a brand new Round 2 Wrestling episode here on the 30th, the very last day of November 2022. I am SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning in to this brand new podcast. For those of you who have never tuned into one of my podcasts, this is very similar to a news program. However, it's broken up into 3 segments. We have our Rumor Mill segment that we go over discussing the hottest and juiciest rumors circulating in the world of professional wrestling. We have pro wrestling news. This is actual factual news that you can find almost anywhere on a credible internet source. We have title match results. That is, I give you the results of every title that was defended or on the line this past week and tell you who the new champion is and or who retained those elusive championships. We will conclude this show with a fan and producer favorite Did You Know? Did you know our little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the rumor mill. Love that bell. Wrestling Observer announces SmackDown will air on FS1 this week instead of Fox, who will be covering the Pac-12 football championship game. According to Fightful Select, Damian Priest, that is WWE's Damian Priest, was considered for a role in the new Wakanda Forever movie. However, he was ultimately not selected for that particular role. Brian Alvarez shoots down the rumor that William Regal is leaving AEW for WWE, despite the in-ring angle between Regal and Moxley. This particular rumor has a lot of momentum behind it because sources close to AEW have indicated that Regal signed on for a year, maybe less. What you have to remember is a year has not passed, and Regal is no longer wrestling. So if he were to jump ship, it would be in a similar role that he's already in, maybe even something as an executive vice president, general manager, talent relations, something like that. But for all intents and purposes, William Regal is very happy in his role in AEW and has enjoyed his time in AEW. So this is a very interesting rumor, and whether or not it actually comes true has yet to be seen. Dave Meltzer indicates Thunder Rosa should be back to work in AEW sometime in February 2023. Thunder Rosa has been out for an extensive period of time dealing with an injury. So long, in fact, that they have stripped Thunder Rosa of her AEW Women's World Champion title and have bestowed that upon the interim AEW World Women's Champion, Jamie Hayter. They also retroactively said that the previous interim Women's World Champion, Toni Storm, will go down as an actual world champion. So, we hope the best for Thunder Rosa and a speedy recovery. And hopefully when she comes back to AEW, we will see her back to her championship winning ways. Andrade El Idolo is not leaving AEW. Idolo is suffering from a pectoral injury and underwent surgery. This is why Idolo has been off AEW TV for the last several weeks. Per Fightful Select, Scorpio Sky has also been cleared to return to the ring after suffering an injury, but AEW has no plans for Sky at this particular time. According to Fightful Select, Randy Orton had fusion surgery on his lower back and will not be with WWE for the foreseeable future. Sportskeeda says WWE is planning a major event in India, January 18th, 2023. This sounds like a rumor that may be confirmed sooner rather than later, so keep your eyes and ears peeled to whatever pro wrestling news source you have, and let us know in the comments whether or not WWE actually did choose India for one of its next upcoming pay-per-views. All right, enough of the rumor mill. We are going to jump over to something a bit more real. This is pro wrestling news. All right, here we go. Impact Wrestling and streaming company DAZN or DAZN announced a partnership for international distribution. This means Impact Wrestling will be available in 170 countries worldwide. This is huge for the Impact Wrestling promotion and its fan base, obviously trying to reach out and touch everyone in some sort of way and get them interested in Impact Wrestling. Jai Vidal becomes the first openly gay man to sign a multi-year deal also with Impact Wrestling. Gay men and women have had a colored history in the world of professional wrestling. It's only been within the last 10 years or so that big changes and acceptance has come to the LGBTQ community. So excellent to hear that Impact Wrestling has this, Jay Vidal, and hopefully he is able to change the culture within Impact for the better. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T to return to the ring. December 18th, Booker T will tag with Mysterious Q to challenge for the ROW Tag Team titles. On the latest Art of Wrestling podcast, AEW's Colt Cabana discussed his recent Ring of Honor title match with Chris Jericho and how, in a freak accident, he almost killed himself while wrestling in compression socks. This was incredibly serious and scary for Colt Cabana, who actually lost feeling in his legs during the match, but brushed it off to finish this championship match against the Ring of Honor world champion Chris Jericho. He then revealed his condition to trainers and medical staff in the back, and they took it incredibly seriously, removing the compression socks and basically having him lay on his back and rest for a total of 2 hours just to make sure that there were no blood clots and that circulation got back into his extremities. NWA and Triple O Mexico to hold joint wrestling card at a music festival in Mexico City, Mexico. The festival, headlined by Smashing Pumpkins, will take place Saturday, March 4th of 2023. AJ Ferrari, a WWE NIL recruit, to head to court to stand trial for sexual battery stemming from a sexual assault charge in July. Ferrari posted a $25,000 bail on August 4th and is still out on that particular bond. All right, that concludes pro wrestling news. A lot to jaw at with your wrestling buddies. If you missed anything, be sure to go back and listen to this particular episode of Round 2 Wrestling again to catch up on all that pro wrestling news that you may have missed. Enough with the news. Let's jump over to the title matches that took place over the past week. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey defeated Shotzi to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Austin Theory defeated Bobby Lashley and WWE US Champion Seth Rollins to become the new WWE United States Champion. AEW All-Atlantic Champion Orange Cassidy defeated Jake Hager to retain the All-Atlantic Championship. Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho defeated Tomohiro Ishii to retain the Ring of Honor World title. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions FTR defeated Top Flight to retain the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. MLW Women's Featherweight Champion Taya Valkyrie defeated Brittany Blake to retain the MLW Featherweight Championship. MLW World Champion Alex Hammerstone defeated Richard Holliday to retain the MLW World Championship. Wildcat Sports Champion Chuck Devine defeated Nathan Bradley to retain the Wildcat Sports Championship. NWA Women's World Champion Camille defeated Jasmine Allure to retain the NWA Women's World title. NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Carrie Morton defeated Colby Carino to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. That draws to a close all the titles that were on the line this past week and weekend. We are at the end of round 2 wrestling and are going to conclude our show with a fan favorite, Did You Know? Like we said earlier in this podcast, Did You Know are little bits of information and facts about the pro wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. Did you know WWE's Randy Orton has a younger brother who is a stand-up comedian? Did you know the first IWGP Intercontinental Champion was WWE's MVP? Did you know Billy Kidman is the only wrestler to pin Hulk Hogan 3 consecutive times? Did you know Rena Mero, aka Sable, was in talks with World Championship Wrestling to become Hollywood Hogan's manager? Those talks ultimately fell through and Sable joined WWF. Did you know there are 183 wrestlers and celebrities inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame since debuting in 1993? Did you know indie wrestler Shark Boy is credited with the Slammiversary pay-per-view name? Did you know Bull Nakano defeated Alundra Blaze for the WWF Women's title in front of 42,000 fans at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan? Did you know the original title for Monday Night Raw was the very long, down, dirty, gritty Raw? Did you know the Ultimate Warrior's record after 2 runs in the WWF is an incredible 124 wins, 3 losses, and 13 no decisions, a win percentage of an astounding 88%. On a side note, 2 of the most popular WWF wrestlers of all time, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, have a winning percentage of 50% or less during their entire tenure in WWF/WWE. Did you know after winning the IWGP IC title in June 2018, Chris Jericho became the first and only wrestler to win both the IWGP and WWE Intercontinental Championships? All right, that is the conclusion of Round 2 Wrestling this week. I am SlimmDa KID, and I once again want to personally thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Be sure to tune in next week as I bring you more rumors, more news, and more results from the world of professional wrestling. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by SlimmDa KID and Spreaker.com.